Hello, my name is Aaron and welcome back to the Retro Gaming Collective. I wanted to do a really quick video because I wanted to show you some of my favorite boxed cartridge games. Now, I am not a boxed game collector by any means. It's just not something that I have ever been into as a collector or a gamer. Because this is an active game room, I do play all my games, and I don't have a ton of space, so collecting box games, like, it adds up. However, there are some games that are a little bit more nostalgic to me, some that are a little bit more important. So I wanted to have the boxes for them, or I have some that are just interesting that I've come across in my travels, or I even have some from when I was a kid, which, you know, I can't think of many kids that ended up keeping some of the boxed games that they had. You know, typically you just rip them open, which is normally what I did, but I'll explain. So the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to start with NES, move to the SNES, then the 64, and then I'm going to show you a couple of handheld games. So we'll start with the big three for me. When I first started, like, seriously collecting, there were three games that I wanted to have in the box, for sure. Like, this was really all I wanted. I'm sorry, they're all upside down here, but I wanted Super Mario Brothers for NES. I wanted Super Mario Brothers 2 for NES, and I wanted Super Mario Brothers 3 for NES. So, you know, as a video game collector, as a big Nintendo fan, which I am, like, if you look at my arm, like, I'm a Nintendo fanboy. So it's just something that I really enjoy. I love Mario specifically, so to have the first three, you know, real Mario games in the box, complete with manuals and everything, to be able to preserve these, it just feels really good to me. To know that these three copies, like, they're mine, and I can play them whenever I want. I can look at them just as they were on the shelves back in the 80s. It's really, really cool. And in the same vein, I'm not a huge Zelda fan, but to be able to have the Adventure of Link, the Adventure of Link, Zelda 2, the gold cart complete in the box. It's so cool that you can see the gold cart through the box. Obviously mine's not in great shape. It's got some cardboard issues here, probably from a sticker or something like that. But I ended up getting this right when I was starting to collect. I got it on eBay for like $23 or something stupid like that. So just super happy to have that in my collection. It's just really cool. Just really cool. And that's something I'll say too for me. The funnest part about collecting video games is the history surrounding them. Just the nostalgia that I feel for them. So, like, I don't know, just again, being able to have the original Mario Brother games, some Zelda games like this, like, in the box, the way they're supposed to be, the way they were supposed to be displayed, it's just really, really cool. Now, I will also say that for a lot of these, especially the Marios, I have separate copies that are out of the box just so that I can play them. Because I don't want to touch these boxes, I don't want to damage them. They're in these, like, little like, protective cases, which you can get off either, like, Etsy. I got mine off of eBay because that's where I get everything. But nonetheless, I do have them. I also have Kirbys Adventure, and if you've seen any of my other videos, you might notice that I'm also a huge Kirby fan. I just had picked up Kirby, the Crystal Shards, or Kirby 64. But this is, like, I ended up buying this from my boss at a guitar store that I used to work at years ago. And he was offloading a bunch of games, and this happened to be one of them. How he came across it, you know, not being a collector, was really cool. I think I paid like $15 for it. Not a bad deal at all then. But really, really happy to have this. Now, moving into the SNES, I actually have not played this game, but I think it's just a really, really cool one to have. It's just so quintessentially 90s for me. And it's just the Jurassic Park 2, The Chaos Continues. I'm sorry, it's hard to see because of the light, and these things are reflective. But, like, everybody in the 90s like would recognize the Jurassic Park logo. It's just really, really cool. And I remember some of the other Jurassic Park games that you would have played on Genesis or things like that. So being able to have something like this, just like because it's so 90s to me, it's just really cool. So that's all I had for the SNES. I'm going to move on to the N64. Now these two are games that are like super important to me, one more than the other. Both are Rare games, like made by Rare. The first being GoldenEye 007 and the other being Perfect Dark. Now the reason that these are so cool to me, the reason that I absolutely had to have these in the box is both of these kind of redefined like what a first-person shooter was, what first-person shooter multiplayer was, especially GoldenEye. Like I actually just had a buddy over and we played GoldenEye for a little bit, and it was like taking a stroll down memory lane because I played the crap out of this game as a kid. Like just having people over. I remember when I was younger in the neighborhood, we would all get on our bikes and ride to each other's houses and play GoldenEye, then go to somebody else's house and play GoldenEye, and then go to the next house, play GoldenEye. This game is incredible. It doesn't really hold up today the way it did then, but there's still like, I mean, cheat code wise, you just can't beat it. But again, to be able to see it the way it's supposed to be displayed, the way it was in stores, like it just, it was a must-have for me, and it was so worth it. I think I actually paid $20 for this when I first started collecting as well. So just a really great deal. And again, same thing with Perfect Dark. It doesn't hit the same way with me that GoldenEye does, but it's the same general idea. Again, both of these just like redefined FPSs, and like, again, Rare just did a great job with it. Now this one was actually a gift. This is Pocket Monster Stadium. So it's basically Pokemon Stadium for the N64, but this is the Japanese version. My brother actually got me this for Christmas a few years ago, and I just think the artwork is so cool, and just the Japanese, I'm sorry, I'm trying to do this and look at the screen at the same time. Just the artwork again, and you know, being such a huge Pokemon fan like I am, you know, just to be able to open this up and like it's still got the manual in here, and it's in great shape. He found a really, really nice copy for me. The cartridge just looks, I mean, pristine. Like that's a nice cartridge. Looks great. So again, just a super cool thing to have for my collection. My brother had picked that out because I was going through a Japanese video game kind of craze at the time. I had all kinds of crazy stuff. I still do. Super Famicom stuff mostly, but that was a super cool addition. He also had gotten me like some of the Star Wars games for N64, but the Japanese versions, and the artwork's different on the cartridge. It's just really, really cool. Final two. This one is Donkey Kong Land 3 for the Game Boy. My old boss that I bought Kirby from actually sold me this as well. I think it was like $5 or $10. Also a Rare game, but these Donkey Kong games were just amazing. Now they're very different if you look at the cover art on here. They're very different than what you might remember from Donkey Kong Country for the Super Nintendo. I almost said Super Famicom. But it's just really cool to have the box again for something like that, like a legitimate Nintendo game. And then the final one, and you're going to look at this and be like, why would you even mention this? But this is Madden 2004, and it's for Game Boy Advance. It's still in the box. The reason this one's special to me is because this was my copy as a kid. It's the only box copy game that I still have from my childhood. The reason I still have it is my father bought me this as a birthday present, and I guess it was the summer of 2003. And I think I was a freshman in high school or something like that. And I took it out of the box, and I laid the box on a shelf behind something. And I put it right in my Game Boy and never looked at it again. Went back to my bedroom one day, and I found this still sitting on the shelf in the same spot years later. And of course, like, I'm going to put the the game back in and like make sure it's got that protective seal on it, and protect it, because again, that is an actual piece of my childhood. And it, again, it's not a great game. It's Madden 2004. Who cares? But just the fact that this is like one of the places where my gaming began, it's very cool to have. So that's really all I wanted to talk about. I hope you enjoyed that. I know that there are lots of people who have better box collections than me, or better collections in general than me. But I wanted to show you at least that part, just because it's something that I enjoy. If you have questions, can hit me up on Instagram at the Retro Gaming Collective. You can also comment, you can like it and subscribe. But I'm here if you have questions. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.